You know, how Milford, at one time, I believe we had, you said 1,000 hotel rooms. I think we had 20 hotels. And the next street over is Catherine, the next is Ann. If you went down Ann Street or Catherine Street, at the end of those streets overlooking the river, there was a hotel called the Bluff House that had over 250 rooms, if I'm correct. Is that a good recollection, Tommy?
Yes.
And I can remember that hotel, and I don't remember the exact year in the 40s that it burned down, but I would just say there was a time in the 40s there were still a lot of hotels here. Again, as a kid, I can remember riding my bike by here in the mid-1940s, and if it was on a Saturday or Sunday, in front of the Fauchier for a block or half a block in either way, there would be limousines, there would be drivers standing there, you know, waiting for their folks who were in having lunch in the Fauchier or who were waiting on the front porch or whatever, because people would drive from Philadelphia or New York to come here to have lunch back in the 40s. So the Fauchier had a great reputation. And so as a kid growing up here, you know, I sort of have seen things, you know, I wasn't here when it was at the top, but I was here when it was on the way down, and it sort of bounced along the bottom. And thank goodness for the work that Dick and the Enhancement Committee and many people, I mean everybody in this room and people that are not here, you know, we've started way back up the hill again. I mean, we're a long way from the top, but we've come out of the valley, and we've got a lot of energy, a lot of people, a lot of contribution of time. Another little aside, which is something I wanted to share with you. When Governor Rendell was running for office the first time, he came here for an introduction and a fundraiser, and I think as possibly the token Republican, I was invited by Mike Weinstein.
In this very room, actually.
Well, we were here
at the Muir House, right?
At the Muir House. So at the Muir House, which is another lovely, dining little inn in the bureau, at the edge of the borough. Mike Weinstein sat me right next to the governor, and so we spent an hour and a half talking about Milford and about all the things that went on. We also talked about the Performing Arts Center in Philadelphia and the one here in Pike County, but we got to know each other. So over the period of time that Governor Rendell has been our governor, I've had occasion to meet with him a number of times. We have here in Milford a Black Bear Film Festival. It's the weekend after Columbus Day. And earlier this year, Governor Rendell told me he would try to make it because I wanted him to go to the film festival. He'd heard about it enough times from me and others, and I also wanted to show him the site for our new library, which is across from my office. And so I got a letter on Monday telling me, unfortunately, that he would not be able to make it, but to please contact his office again to see if we can schedule it for next year. So I would just say that that whenever I talk to Governor Rendell, amongst the few questions we discuss, how's Milford? And one other trivia thing, and Sean heard the voicemail, a year ago, our tourism department here in the Commonwealth did a number of interesting commercials on this area, and one of them showed pictures of the Fauchier and other buildings here in town. It was about visiting our area. Well, I wrote a letter to Governor Rendell. This was probably end of June of last year, beginning of July, and I thanked him very much for the support for Milford in our area. And about 3 or 4 days later, I came back in the office and I saw my message light on, picked up my voicemail, and Sean, listen to this. Hey Dave, it's Ed Rendell. I just want to tell you that this time of the year we never get letters from anybody thanking us for anything. I appreciate your letter. I'm forwarding it on to the Tourist Bureau, and look forward to seeing you guys real soon, and you don't have to call me back. Well, I played that for a lot of people, not just because the governor called, left a message on my voicemail at my office, but he appreciated being thanked for what was going on with Milford and Pike County and so on and so forth. So anyway, those are my little sidelines. But we have a number of buildings that are mentioned here. The Tom Quick you'll see when you're on your tour, the Borough Hall, which is around the corner, the Hartford Inn, which is over on Hartford Street, which is a very, very old historic building, and you'll be driven by the Milford Theater, which is just down the street, about a half a block down, and that's where we hold the Black Bear Film Festival. And this is the 9th year, and the Black Bear Film Festival has gotten a nice little bit of support from the state, from various, and I'll apologize, I don't know that I can remember exactly where it came from, but for our film festival. But the main thing that we're focused on now, we need to acquire this theater for the community. It's a 300-seat theater. It needs a lot of fixing. It's been around forever. I mean, I can remember going there, 55 or 60 years ago or so for a quarter. You could go see a matinee on Sunday afternoon with your pals or whatever the case may be. But we need to acquire that theater to have a venue for 300 people to sit down, whether it's to hear whatever it's to hear about, or to see a film, or to do summer stock. And again, growing up here, there was summer stock in that theater for many, many years. And now we have, because a lot of our residents in this area are involved with performing arts, live theater, we have many of them that have weekend homes here. If that theater was owned by the community and it was shined and polished a little bit, we could have summer stock here all next summer. We could have opera. I mean, there are people here that have second homes that do operas in New York. There are people that do all kinds of live theater. There's a great representation from the film world. And so we need to acquire the theater. We need to have, as a community, work on the Tom Quick, on the Borough Hall, and the Hartford Inn. And again, just going back to the film festival, which the key to it is the theater down the street. I mean, if you look in the state maps, you'll see they locate a half a dozen film festivals on a large map that the Commonwealth produces, and we're one of those on there. And we do get international and national recognition for our film festival. It's a great event. It's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday event. And if any of you visitors would like to attend, if you let me know, I'll certainly make arrangements that you come. But again, the buildings you're going to see when on the tour are very important to the community, and we need, all the support that we can get for it. And we are very anxious to, to cooperate in any way. Come to Harrisburg, come wherever to make presentations. And thank you very much for being here today.